Is this Oscar-worthy? Last year it was. Last week I was having one of those days when I decided to pick up this movie, Perfect Days, for a rewatch. It's an all-time favorite, a real soul soother. And this story started out as an ode to a movie I loved about a Tokyo toilet cleaner's simple life. But as I was digging into the making of it, a wilder one revealed itself. A story about how a public architecture project, a Uniqlo executive, the man who built Beyonce's house, and the COVID-clouded 2020 Tokyo Olympics led to a German director getting nominated for an Oscar. And yes, this is the story of light shining through the trees and the beauty and joy of a simple existence, but also of the turns life takes to get there. The 2020 Tokyo Olympics were the most expensive in history, $20 billion. The Japanese government was riding high with the perfect logo and a chance to show themselves on the world stage. Nothing could stop them. They were preparing everything, scouring every inch of the city, seeing what could use a facelift. When you're preparing for the Olympics, you don't expect it to exist in a bubble. You expect millions of tourists pouring through your city, embracing your culture, hell, even peeing. So before the bat ruined everything and that perfect logo, God, just look at it. Of all the things COVID took from us, aside from lives and sanity, that second zero hurts the most. What could have been? But before all of that, Uniqlo executive Koji Yanai was looking for a way to help. So in 2018, he came up with a project aimed at renovating the park experience in Tokyo's Shibuya neighborhood. The idea was, alright, we have all these fans pissing and shitting their way through our city. We want them to use our parks, but also show them that even the smallest overlooked parts of our city are crafted to the nth degree, that our artisan culture applies everywhere. And so, the Tokyo Toilet Project was launched. Funded by the Nippon Foundation, 17 public bathrooms were commissioned from the best architects in Japan and abroad. We're talking Pulitzer Prize winners, the Architect Oscars, the best of the best. Legends like Tadao Ando, who designed the most expensive single-family home in America, the House of Carter, Jay-Z and Beyonce's personal home. 16 architects tasked with designing Olympic-caliber crappers. Sure, it's a little goofy, but beautiful art can have silly beginnings. But as COVID pushed the Olympics to 2021 and into a bubble, no one was going to see them. And so Koji and I had to find a way to show the world what they had done. The idea was to invite a major director to make a few short films or documentaries about them. Let the world know how good their bowels have it. And that's how director Wim Wenders ended with a letter in his mailbox inviting him to Japan.
And along came a letter inviting me to come to Japan and look at toilets.
He wasn't sure he wanted to do it, but they'd pay for his trip. Having made several movies there in the 1980s, Wenders missed it. So he agreed to see the toilets. Someone saying we will fly you across the world just to look at our bathrooms brings me so much joy. I can't explain it. But once there, Wenders started to see the vision.
Never been in any toilet like this. It was very welcoming, completely clean and beautiful. It's very privileged to sit in those and doing a business.
Still, someone saying film our toilets isn't a movie. As they talked, however, he realized that they were going to give him 17 shoot days. My guess is 1 day per toilet, which is how all production schedules should be crafted. And he realized if the stars aligned, he could pull off something bigger.
But then realized it wasn't really my life's dream to make little documentaries about toilets.
So he shifted from a documentary approach to fiction. Koji and I connected Wenders with Japanese screenwriter Takuma Takasaki, and they got to work. Luckily, Wenders is known for crafting classics that start place first, letting the space dictate. Road movies like Paris, Texas, where he set out across the American West, letting the environment shape the story, filming in chronological order. He talked to Yanai and said, if you want people to remember the architecture, you can't just tell them about it. You need to set a story against it. As Wenders put it on the podcast Big Picture, If you want to show someone San Francisco, you show them Vertigo.
Because in the end, I know that places, if they are the hero of a movie, they don't mean much. But if they're inside a story, they're fabulous.
If he changed his approach, ditched fancy setups, and stripped the crew down to bare essentials, he could get a full feature out of this. And with that, Perfect Days was born. Perfect Days is a movie about Hirayama, a single man with a simple life in Tokyo. He drives from beautiful toilet to toilet, cleaning and maintaining them with pride. As he drives my dream van, he listens to old cassettes and takes in the city. I mean, look at that van. One day I will own a van like that. Hirayama takes care of his plants and buys a single roll of film every day so he can take pictures of light passing through the trees on his lunch breaks. I saw Perfect Days for the first time about a year ago, and I've thought about it every day since. That type of peace, to me, is the goal. To one day sit under an old tree, my camera by my side, and smile. To be enough. As I sat with my coffee, it sung to my soul. About something I forgot, something I know. Profoundly know. A day is made of tiny moments, and it's up to us to embrace and cherish the moments that make a life. The good, the bad, the pain, the what-ifs. It's all an abstraction. It's the act of taking the photos, often more than the photos themselves. A big part of this movie is the Japanese idea of komorabi. It's about a much more layered feeling and idea, but the literal translation is about light traveling through trees, the way the light and shadows interact. Wim Wenders uses this a lot, the way the shadows fall on Hirayama's face as he smiles to himself in a quiet moment. The way he drifts in and out of his dreams each night to these shadows dancing. But he uses it to show the complexity of emotions. When a man dying of cancer talks with Hirayama by the riverside, the man says he can't quite name the feeling. It's too complicated. Wenders then cuts to this. Light meeting shadows, street lamps reflecting on a dark river.
影って重ねると濃くなるんですかね?
The two men then compare their shadows under a street lamp and play shadow tag before Hirayama bikes home with a smile. The darkness does not lessen the light. Together, they enhance the other. In the days before, Hirayama is visited by his old life. He sees his successful sister and cries at the pain of what was. He runs out of gas covering for a coworker who then quits and leaves him working overtime alone. But he also spends these days listening to his favorite music. He dreams and reads, gets a kiss on the cheek and a new plant. He plays tic-tac-toe with a stranger and bikes along the river with his niece, all while taking pride in his days and his work. Wenders said he wrote a backstory we never hear for Hirayama, that he was a businessman who gave it all up to live a simple life. And as he looks out at the past and the present, driving to the morning sun, Nina Simone sings out as he smiles at his choice, tears running down his face. A simple life isn't less than, and quiet joys aren't free from pain. Now is now. See how the light plays with the shadows.
今度は今度。今は今。
All of this from what was supposed to be an ad about toilets. Thanks for watching. I'm Ryan Harper. This is Niche Nonsense. Please subscribe for more video essays on the absurd art and culture that make this strange mess worthwhile. Take care. I'll see you next time.